Hey everyone, welcome to Satisfactory News. Today's video is going to be a tutorial on how to set up a vehicle route. Vehicles are fun and sometimes an easier way to move items across the map. They generally won't be more efficient or faster than even the fastest belts, but setting up a truck route is often quicker and less resource intensive than setting up a belt across multiple kilometers of the map. So what you're going to need for a simple truck route is the materials to make at least one truck, or tractor if you prefer, and the materials to make 2 truck stations, along with the ability to power both stations. We're going to start by building the drop-off station where the truck will unload its cargo. Make sure that it's connected to a power source and then go into the settings to make sure the load and unload toggle is set to unload. Now, travel to your loading area and build a loading station. You'll need to make sure this is powered as well, and make sure to toggle the load-unload setting to load. Of course, you'll need to set up your belts for both of these systems, so start loading up this station with whatever items you want to transport. Now, before we can actually record the route for the truck, we need to provide a fuel source. You can input a solid fuel source directly into the truck stations through the fuel input. However, you can't input liquid fuel. Pretty much anything will do, but certain fuels are different efficiencies. For example, coal can fuel vehicles, but it will be less efficient than packaged fuel. Coal is super convenient if you have an extra coal node nearby and can easily just belt that into your truck station. No additional processing required, unlike with fuel. But something like coal will only work for a shorter route, so do a test run first to see if a tank full of coal is enough to get the truck to its destination and back again. You can have fuel at both truck stations, but they need to be the same fuel source or it won't work. For my own world, I use trucks to transport rubber and plastic from an oil processing factory, and I also create some packaged fuel there with the oil, which just goes right into the truck station. If you can integrate the fuel source like this, I highly recommend it. It makes things very easy. Okay, now we're ready to actually set up the truck route. Build your truck and then fuel it up, get inside, and get into position right before the loading station, making sure that you have the truck oriented in the direction you'd like it to be coming from during its route. Press the Q key to open up the record menu, then click on Start Recording. You can now start driving the route. Drive up to the loading station and make sure that when prompted, you press F to load so that the loading animation begins. You don't actually have to come to a stop. As long as the loading animation starts playing here, the recording will have the truck come to a stop at the station and it will be filled up with any items that are currently in the truck station. Drive on your preferred route to your unloading station, and again drive up to it and press F so that the loading animation starts. Just like before, you don't actually have to stop the truck here. Now you may think you're done recording the route, but you also have to tell the truck how to get back to the starting point. It is a loop. So keep on recording until you're back at your loading station. Make sure you don't drive over your existing route so that it's easier to expand it with more trucks in the future. You don't want them running into each other. You'll see blue nodes that mark your route, so just be sure not to drive over them. Your starting point will be marked by a big yellow starting line with a flag on it. When you cross over this marker, you'll get a notification that the route recording was successful. Then press R to save the route. You can name it anything you want. You won't have to load the route onto this vehicle because it's already saved. If you messed up the recording process, you might have to redo the entire thing. But if you made a simple mistake, you can also go up to one of the nodes, interact with it, and delete it. When the truck is on autopilot, it will pick the best path between nodes, so deleting one just alters the path and the truck will move between the 2 nodes that were on either side of it. Once you're certain about your path, you can go back to the truck, open the record menu with Q, and turn on autopilot. When you get out of the vehicle, it will start on its route. If you build additional trucks that you want to run on this route, you can just load up the route on them by pressing V and selecting from the list, then enabling autopilot. Just be sure that the truck is nearby the route, otherwise it won't be able to find its way. One of the problems with automated vehicles is that sometimes they behave strangely when you're watching them, but as you get further away, they will stop actually animating and will essentially teleport between each node. So if you're experiencing issues when you're close by to them, try leaving and seeing if the system works. Sometimes trucks will get stuck, but they're pretty effective at righting themselves and resuming their route. But it's still worthwhile to check on them every now and then. So they're not as reliable as belts, but they can definitely be fun and add a little bit of interest to your game. Alright, that's a quick guide to trucks. If you for some reason want to make this more complicated and use more than 2 truck stations, that should be easy. Just make sure the loading and unloading settings are correct, then record your route, remembering to activate the loading animation each time. Okay, that's the tutorial, and I hope you'll like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let me know in the comments if there are other tutorials you'd like to see, and I'll see you in the next Satisfactory News video.